Marhay na aldaw sa gabos. I am Kim Chester Foliero. For this video, we will tackle the module 3, part of 7 in our group reporting, which entitled Choose Simple and Direct Words. This video covers the principle 2 and 3 in principles of clear and effective writing. According to Yellow Brick 2023, which stated that using jargons or technical terms might confuse your readers. So thus when we use culturally relevant, terms for our target audience, especially when we have a larger audience, we will be able to deliver a significant understanding of the message, as well as we can encourage them to take a meaningful action for a better change, not just on their lives, but for the betterment of the society. So let's proceed for the principle to the use of simple, short, and familiar words. Let's break this down with a real life example, which I have created a sample flyer. I have created this in Canva and Canva tools. So imagine you are in a flood prone area and someone hands you a flyers that says in the first image that implement contingency protocols to mitigate vulnerabilities. So if you receive this one, would you think you would understand this and you would know what to do when there's a flood? Probably not. But if on the second flyer it's stated or simply said like make a backup plan to stay safe, as is that you'd get the message, you would get the message instantly. So there's a huge difference and impact when we use simple, short, and familiar words in communicating. However, there are some people that prefer to use complicated phrases or long words to build structure in a sentence or further add clarity to their message. And some other people, based on my observation and experiences as well, they use them to make them feel, superior, knowledgeable, or intelligent. So actually, language is a part of our life to communicate with others, to be understood, right? And to understand one another, to build relationship. However, sometimes instead of creating a bond and or a relationship, when we use long words or complicated terms, it could lead to confusion and conflict due to miscommunication. So as a DevCon practitioner, we must learn how to use the appropriate language and words. So I have here also the example of printed communication materials that I have searched in the internet. Uh, the first image provides a detailed, flyer with technical terms on the important things about the disaster and what are the things that we need to do in order to be prepared. So for the second image, it shows the concise information on disaster preparedness using the simplest words, the shortest and simplest words that was used in the printed communication materials. This one that I am presenting. So this image, it uses the shortest words to inform the people about the important reminders when there is an emergency or a natural disasters, right? So if you look at the differences of each communication materials that I have, that I have presented, the third image, this image stands out for its use of simple, short, and familiar words where making emergency reminders is clear and accessible to everyone. Compared to the first two, the latter shows how language can be powerfully effective when stripped down to its essentials, to what it really means, right? Especially in urgent situations. Okay, so for this principle number three, the second principle, get straight to the point. In communicating, it is important to address our concerns directly. Getting straight to the point to be understood. Therefore, because it could also help us to communicate easily by avoiding sugarcoating the message. For like, for instance, in a school, in a school context, when there's a class suspension due to a typhoon or when there's a calamity, right? So the school information office or the officer or the administration posted a in a Facebook or whatever, wherever it is in a social media platforms, a notice regarding a class and work suspension to inform the people, especially the students or the stakeholders, the parents, and the faculties. So the print, for example, the print communication materials that was posted on social media platforms uses long phrases instead of using simple and short words to address the concern, right? And getting straight to the point to inform the audience. Like they use for example, due to the approaching typhoon, classes shall be postponed until further notice. Right. So yeah. So in this case, there are lots of words that have been used, but the message really means there is no classes today. As easy as that, right? That is what the message is uh, truly meant. So because some students, based on my observation as well, you know, uh, they don't really care that much about the reason why they don't have classes for that day. What they really care the most is they don't have classes, so they can spend their time doing whatever they want to do. Right. So let's talk about now. Uh, let's shift to the writing habits that we need to watch out for. Let's talk about how to make our writing clear and more direct, especially in academic or policy context. Right? So, the first one we have here: avoid euphemism or gentilism. These are set of these are the soft or polite expressions that can blur the message. For example, when someone died, or in the death, saying he passed away instead of he died. No. Although it is important really to be respectful, especially in sensitive contexts, but you know, we should always prioritize clarity. So if the topic is sensitive, just say it plainly, because this could help us avoid confusion and helps or ensure the message um, can be understood without emotional guesswork. So for the second part, we have the avoid roundabout phrasing. This means cutting out long, indirect expressions that slows down the message. Example using a phrase like "in light of the fact that," in light of the fact that, so instead of using that, why might we not use because? Because when we use roundabout language, we risk losing our readers, their attention, or making our point harder to grasp. So precision really matters more than sounding fancy. So yeah. So for the third one, we have the avoid overlapping words. This is when we use two words that mean the same thing, like each and every student, while we can just only use each student because redundancy, it's redundant. It clutters the sentence and can confuse the reader. It also makes your writing longer than it's need to be. In communicating, when we are communicating, especially uh, during emergencies or when there's an emergencies or disaster, instructions of every word should serve as a purpose. So because what we are going to do is we are going to change the life of a person. Change it for the better. So for the last one, we have here, to minimize verbal deadwood. This refers to the filler phrase that don't really add value. Example, it is important, for example, quoting it is important to note that, you know, while we can just say the point directly, because when we use these kind of phrases, it will just slow down the message and make our writing feel less confident. These are the essential guidelines for writing print communication materials that that we can truly connect with our audience. So uh, we saw how simplifying technical terms can make the disaster preparedness in this context. The messages are more accessible, especially for communities with limited formal education, or they have stronger ties with their native language. Um, we also discuss how direct purposeful writing avoids the confusion, and can help people act quickly, especially in urgent situation, right? So when we are crafting, always remember that we are crafting communication materials such as emergency flyers, school announcements, or policy briefs. We should always remember that or these principles, because you know clarity can save times. It could also build trust, and importantly, it can saves lives. Here are the references that I have used in order to gather the content of this reporting, as well as I would like to note that I used the Microsoft Copilot, um, the AI, you know, in preparing my report on clear and effective writing, to refine the content and ensure the coherence. So that's it for this video. Thank you, and just mabalos po sa Sendo Boss.